In this video, we're going to be learning about constants, and to create a constant, we're going to be using the let keyword. Perhaps you even saw my previous little typo where I used the let keyword accidentally for let string to equal world. Total mistype on my part. Well, now we're going to actually be able to figure out what that meant, and if you were confused, hopefully you were able to just use var or let and your code worked just fine. But let basically is a constant, and a constant means we can't change the value of the keyword, be it string 2, we're not able to update string 2 after we've created it. So let's see how this works. So we're going to just do some refactoring in our project here to figure out when let would be valid and when it would be invalid. So string 1 is going to be changing here. So if we change this to let, we're going to see that we get an error here, and it's going to say, cannot assign to let value string 1, which means that we can't update a constant here, where we can't update its value. So we're going to leave that. Hello world string, once again, right, if we change this to let, we're going to get some errors here because we're updating the value of hello world string, so we're going to leave that as a variable. But for first character, we're not going to be updating it, so we can make this a constant. Same thing goes with var x, new string, double value, new double value string. Right, these can all be constants because we're not updating it. This goes for number string to int. Now we can't do this for optional to int, right, because we're going to be updating this down here, so we need to leave this as a variable. And we can do this for a double string as well. So constants, once again, just means we're not going to be changing the value later on. This leads to code that is more easily readable for developers coming in and checking out your code, and for yourself when you're going to go back and check out code. If you see a constant, it's not going to change anywhere else in your code, as opposed to a variable where you have to think, okay, this might be updated in the future. I wouldn't get too wrapped up on this, right? Try to use constants when possible, but often you're just going to drop the variable keyword in, and then you can go back and do some refactoring later, right? So don't get super caught up in this. Definitely, it's really useful and it's a good practice, but getting things to work and then going back and doing refactoring is a much better practice, in my opinion. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that a constant will be slightly more performance savvy as opposed to a variable because a constant is immutable, so the computer program doesn't need to allocate quite as many resources to the potential for this changing and needing more memory space in the future.